The main event, the men's War Games match. The old bloodline, the OG bloodline, consisting of Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, the Usos, and Sami Zayn with CM Punk versus the new bloodline, consisting of the self-proclaimed tribal chief Solo Sikao, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu, and Big Bronson Reed. All right, so as I said when I made my appearance on the made my appearance on the what was that, the No DQ review recently and everything, I was saying how basically for that match, I thought it should have been 4-on-4. All you needed was the OG 4 Bloodline members versus the new 4 Bloodline members. But I definitely think adding Bronson Reed and CM Punk did not hurt that match. And having seen this match played out now, it certainly did. And it worked perfectly into the story. So the matches are hyped up in an interesting way. I guess it's a football thing, but I don't follow football and everything. So it probably went over my head because they were doing where all the people participating in this this main event match, they were basically introducing themselves in terms of like a university, and with the university, their university was like somehow tagged to their tagged to like their catchphrases and everything. So I thought that was really cool. We have someone in the chat, Vikas. Hi, yeah, thank you for stepping by and everything. I'm gonna definitely be looking at the chat after I'm done with the review here to see what you all thought about Survivor Series. That being said, as far as during the match here, the entrances were good. The new bloodline all came out together, so they were solidified as one. Now, when it came to the entrances for everyone else representing the old bloodline, they all came out separate, which I know it was like, oh, are they all divided and everything? But I thought it was cool to kind of show just how much bigger of a star everyone has become since the last time they had the first War Games men's match, which featured the old bloodline. Totally different vibe, and I really like that. So first out, we end up getting Jimmy Uso. I think it was Jimmy Uso. Sami Zayn also came out to a huge ovation because, of course, they're in Canada, so that was really awesome. And then CM Punk came out, and I was like, oh, wow, third person. I'm like, oh, okay. And then Roman Reigns came out. I'm like, oh, wow, I thought he'd get the last entrance, and he came out. And, you know, there were big pops for both of them, but you kind of, it was like, oh, like, not that anticipation pop, like, yeah, CM Punk, yes, here goes Roman Reigns. It was like, oh, CM Punk's coming out right now. And it's like, oh, wow, Roman Reigns coming out right now. Like, wow, okay. So, like, they put Jey Uso at the end. And, of course, Jey Uso had the most lit entrance when everybody was coming out doing the yeet, 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 yeet. Yeah, that was cool and everything. And then, granted, I do hear that Jey Uso has recently outsold Roman Reigns and outsold Roman Reigns and CM Punk in merchandise. So, that was pretty cool. Maybe that's one of the reasons. But Jey Uso ended up starting out, and they were just playing a lot of stuff up during the entrances. Like, is this gonna make them united to where they need to be? That being said, the first ones to start off the match for their respective teams is Tama Tonga and Jey Uso. Tama Tonga, he does this thing where he's like, yeah. I've seen memes on it about people comparing him to the old Looney Tunes character, the Tasmanian Devil. So it's like, I don't know. And Jey Uso gets in there, and I'm gonna be honest, this had to be for me the most awkward 5-minute opening portion of a War Games match out of the ones that I've seen in WWE. I'm pretty sure the old school ones back in like the 80s and late 80s and early 90s were probably weren't even like this. But yeah, a lot of the first 5 minutes of this match is Tama Tonga just going like yeah, then getting on all fours, yeah, and then basically like yeah, and then meanwhile, Jey Uso is the one that's trying to, smack him the face and actually try to do some wrestling moves. So it's like this just went on for like 5 minutes, and it's like it felt like Tama Tonga was just was just stalling. If I had to express the first 5 minutes of this match, it was yeet and yeah, yeet, yeah. Like, oh man, so I was entertained by that. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be more serious. So yeah, I wasn't too sure what was going on that. Oh, what is up? The man 0001, one of my best friends out there. He says Tama looked like Scooby-Doo. Yeah, yeah. It didn't pop me on my own stream, Metro. Now I'm thinking of it like it kind of does seem like is yeah. It does kind of seem like Scooby-Doo's laughter. Yeah. We need a yeah face off between Scooby-Doo and Tama Tonga. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we get to Tama. He after they do that whole exchange, things get more serious with Bronson Reed. He comes in basically all business, and despite Jey Uso's great effort throwing chairs at Bronson Reed, and I love that tension. Like, yeah, if this guy, if you got a big dude like that can move and is as conditioned as Bronson Reed, he just threw everything at the sun at him. So I thought it was cool until Bronson Reed smacked the chair, the third chair down, and everything, and he ends up from there basically getting double teamed. Jey Uso gets double teamed by Tama Tonga and and Bronson Reed, and even when they got Jey Uso down, once again Tama Tonga is going through the crowd just like oh my gosh. So from there, we end up getting, and this is a great move on their part. I really like the strategicness of like, okay, how are we going to play our cards now? So from there, and let's see, we said Reed came out looking like the Tasmanian devil. The man 0001 says that, it's funny because I was actually mentioning how often the Tasmanian devil, he ends up, that's what I was saying that's how a lot of the fans, usually they meme, Tama Tonga sounding like that when he goes like, yeah. So yeah, from here, Jimmy, is next to come out with Jey, which is a great move because Jimmy and Jey, they, are they were the tag team, the Usos, and they come in there and they're doing all their classic moves, and this is what basically minimizes Tama and Bronson Reed. So that was a great play because who else has much better experience than working who has much better experience at working with them than Jimmy. So I thought that was a great move. And then in a surprising move, Solo, he sends out the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. I did not think we were going to see Jacob Fatu this early in the match, and he really was the difference maker. And I was like, oh snap, if you had Jim Ross on commentary in his prime, he'd be like, by God, business has picked up. Like, my gosh, it would have been like, wow, man, like crazy. And from there, that's where we get Jacob Fatu. He comes in and he just wrecks house, man. He is there's a part, like, I think Solo, there's a part where Jimmy, was it Jey? Yeah, Jey does a super kick to him and he tanks it, and you just see Jey go like, oh, SHIT really loud. So that was great. And that's where Corey Grace has a funny line on commentary where he says, how does what does he say? He's saying that if that doesn't make you want to put down your weapons, then I don't know what will. Like, man, that's right, straight up right there. There was even one point where Jey Uso did that was the super kick. Yeah, he did that. So Jacob Fatu, he does this amazing thing where he like does a handstand, and he and while he's standing upside down on just with his hands, he ends up with his feet kicks Jimmy Uso into the cage while standing on his hands, and then he turns it into a moonsault to Jey Uso. Incredible athleticism for his size, absolutely incredible. Let me see. Jacob Fatu is a human cheat code. He's like an old SVR online cheat CAW. You're pretty much right there, man. 0001. I agree with what you said in there in the chat, man. And then from there, my notes all got all discombobulated here. Let me see, where was I at? Let's see here. We were at Jacob Fatu so after that, CM Punk, he was ready to come on out, but Roman, he stops him. And he tells Sami Uso, right, to go instead. And boy, you heard the audience, they were like, oh my, yeah, like, oh boy, yeah, you heard him say that. So from here, it's Sami Zayn. He's basically got to take on these behemoths when he gets in there. And Sami and the Usos, they try their best to try and do a 3-on-1 attack, but Jacob Fatu ends up being too much of a difference maker. And then from here, Tama, he comes out next, basically to easy pickings in the ring for a 4-on-3 encounter. He also brings in a table, which, like I always say, I question why do you have the heel bring in the table and everything and stuff like that. And then from here, the old bloodline, they is just dominating here. Jacob Fatu is still doing ridiculous athleticism as he yells to the cameraman, "Get the hell out the way!" when he does the thing where he jumps on the top rope, landing then on the top ropes like where his thighs are, and then uses that to springboard onto the moonsault. Crazy. From here, Roman is about to leave, but CM Punk, he brushes him to the side as if to say, "Don't you ever effing tell me what I can't do." So Roman's like, "I know he didn't." So CM Punk ends up coming straight out there, and CM Punk, okay, so he finds himself here. He's in a 4-on-1 situation because the old bloodline has just been going ham. So CM Punk, he ends up taking out a red toolbox, and Michael Cole mentions how the last time CM Punk was in a match, he busted Drew McIntyre's head wide open and had a whole crimson face coming down. And CM Punk, for a moment, he's doing his thing. He's got that red toolbox, and he's going ham on all 4 of these guys and everything until the craziest part in the match. So get this. CM Punk does a bulldog to Jacob Fatu, and onto face first. Jacob Fatu goes face first onto the steel toolbox, and CM Punk is celebrating, and Jacob Fatu just gets right back up. No selling it. Dude is like Broly in Dragon Ball Z Movie 8. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, Goku does his mighty Kamehameha wave, and Broly just tanks it and goes like, "What was that?" That's exactly what happens, and Jacob Fatu, he wrecks CM Punk after this, man. And from here, yeah, he just like throws CM Punk in the air for a pump-up Samoan drop, and there you go. So then Solo Sikao, he's the last to come out from Team New Bloodline. So before Solo gets in the ring, he has the Bloodline members put Jimmy, Jey, and Sami all head first, one by one, in front of where the door should go. And then Solo basically just swings the door, bam, in front of them, taking them all out. And CM Punk's like in the corner, still being wrecked by Jacob Fatu. Man, it is like crazy from here. And then he locks the door, and yeah, so from here, yes, it's basically a 5-on-1 beatdown for CM Punk, because Bronson Reed does the tsunami to Sami Zayn, aka now Sami Uso, and then you have before that Jacob Fatu does the big splash off the top rope onto both Usos, and then the 5 of them, they jump CM Punk, and it's a massive beatdown. So Roman Reigns is eventually freed here, and Solo makes the decision to go ahead, and this is weird psychology of the match. Solo wants to lock Roman Reigns out, say, "You ain't never getting in here." But here's the thing, it's been established that in order to win WarGames, the final participant has to get in the ring. Once all 10 participants are in the ring, can the match actually officially begin. So are you trying to win your match? Are you trying to win He's like, are you trying to win your team the match or not? So I don't know what Solo Sikao was doing here from a storyline standpoint as a leader. And then on top of that, they're spending so much time because Roman Reigns is trying to figure out, okay, I'm just going to climb, because I'm like, okay, like he can't just climb up the cage. They're filling so much time trying to keep Roman out. I'm like, you're just going to allow his teammates to recover. So I don't think that was the best look of leadership in the storyline for Solo Sikao to do that. So I didn't know what the heck was going on here. And of course, eventually Roman Reigns, he gets in and he knocks everyone out, that was trying to climb the cage, Bronson, the Tongas, and from there, Roman, he eventually is mixing up in the cage, and he does a cross body to all the new bloodline members to take them out. And Solo, he ends up this is a really cool spot right here. This looks smooth as heck. Solo, he throws Roman Reigns over the right side of the ring, and Roman's body ends up going into the ring of the left side, and it ends up propelling Roman Reigns' body back into Solo, and he whacks him like with a smack or a clothesline. Sick as heck. Nice and smooth. Really cool spot. Definitely check that part out. Oh man, that was pretty cool. All right, and then from there, Solo, he throws Roman. Yeah, so he throws Roman after that cool spot that you get. Roman, he ends up helping up all his fellow teammates, except for CM Punk. They are all having this big intense stare down, but Paul Heyman, he comes in, he gives them this big prep talk, talking about how this is war, and this gets all 5 men on the same page. But for some reason, the ring crew is trying to break the chain that keeps the door locked, which once again makes no sense to me in terms of how it fits into the storyline, because it's like, that's the purpose. It's supposed to lock the door so that everybody doesn't get outside, and therefore they mention how you're not allowed to climb over because then you forfeit for your team. So I don't know what was going on with that. And then so from there, everyone starts going at it. So the official WarGames has begun. We get 2 stereo Uso splashes, which had been a while since we've seen it. They deliver it to both the Tongan brothers. There is at one point where Roman goes for a spear, but Solo side sweeps him into CM Punk, who had Jacob up for a GTS. So there we go. There's one part where Jacob Fatu goes for one of his jumping moonsaults off the rope and misses and lands on his leg. Also looked like CM Punk kind of moved out the way, but of course they do this injury angle similar to what they did at SummerSlam. This is their plot device for basically being able to effectively write a way for Jacob to lose the match without actually, being the one taking the pinfall or submission and everything. So really good booking, I thought, right there to protect Jacob Fatu. From there, things start just getting crazy mayhem out of here. So Bronson Reed, he then goes for the tsunami all the way from the top of the cage, and man, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is gonna hurt Bronson Reed. So he comes down, however, 15 feet down. CM Punk ends up grabbing Roman Reigns and pulls him out of harm's way, and when they play this slow motion, man, it looked like that sucked. Bronson Reed, he's gonna be feeling that in the morning. But this was a cool spot that CM Punk was able to save Roman Reigns out of the way. So Roman realizes that Punk saved him, and it's here that Roman offers his hand to CM Punk and finally pulls him up. But then they are interrupted by Jacob Fatu. This then leads to Solo getting 2 Samoan spikes to Roman Reigns, and it looks like Roman is about to get pinned, but the Usos thankfully interrupt with the pinfall. And then the Usos, they leash multiple super kicks to Jacob Fatu and put him down with 1D. From here, Sami ends up taking out the other Tongas, and Jimmy Uso, he does a splash all the way from the top of the steel cage through the table to Jacob Fatu. Like his father at Fully Loaded 2000 in a steel cage match against Val Venus. Perhaps one of the most underrated, awesome cage spots that never gets talked about, of how he walked right across and had nothing to be left to cushion his fall had he failed and something went wrong, and my gosh, the amount of trust Val Venus had for Rikishi for that. So that was really cool seeing this moment work out for them. And then from here, Sami Uso, he then helps up CM Punk with the Usos helping up Roman Reigns, and this is where we get to the really cool finale, because the fans start saying F you Solo, F you Solo. So Solo Sikao, he looks around and he sees sees that all of his 4 bloodline members, new bloodline members, they're all out, and he is surrounded now by the old bloodline and Roman Reigns, and his last thing to yell is, "I'm still the tribal chief." And from there, Jimmy and Jey, they both super kick him, and then they both super kick him at the same time, and this causes Solo to go into the corner, and Roman says, "Your turn." So Sami runs and does the haluva kick, boom, right to Solo Sikao, and Solo Sikao ends up staggering out of the ring, out of the turnbuckle, and CM Punk picks him up, does the go to sleep GTS, right? And Solo, he ends up going into the ropes, and Roman Reigns, ooh, boom, hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. The old bloodline and CM Punk win. I loved it. Absolutely loved it, because I love how, especially like last time they were in the WarGames, it was about, is Sami loyal? But here they were united. And if you look at the way the match was structured, man, Roman Reigns, it's like let's be honest, for majority of this match, the team Old Bloodline got their butts kicked. The new bloodline, especially Jacob Fatu, they were kicking butt all through this match. But once Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk all got united, boom, they took these guys out, took Solo out. I love the ending. And then as the show was going off, we end up getting all 4 bloodline members, they embrace, and it's good to see, like, after all the bad blood, to see them all come together and embrace was fantastic. And then CM Punk and Roman Reigns come face to face, and Sammy's like, he helped us. Hey, he helped us. We won because of him. And Roman Reigns, he sticks his hand out, and CM Punk sticks his hand out, and they shake hands, and Roman Reigns was like, "For one night only," and CM Punk responds back, "For one night only." And you see Paul Heyman, he's just ecstatic, and so he starts shaking hands with all the old bloodline members as they're coming out, and he gives CM Punk a big hug. And then when Roman Reigns, and oh yeah, by the way, when he's giving CM Punk a hug, you can hear the camera pick up to him telling Paul Heyman, he says, "When the time comes, I'm gonna ask for that favor now." And then when Roman Reigns comes out, he has this stare down with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman is doing the whole praying symbol, just like Solo, who, I mean, just like Jacob does for Solo, and you heard him so many times during this match. He's like, "I love you, Solo." Just like Paul Heyman, "I love you, my tribal chief," right? And Roman, he ends up going ahead and giving a pat to Paul Heyman on the hand, on his cheek, on his face and stuff like that. And so you see Paul Heyman, he goes ahead and he covers his mouth like, so that was pretty cool. And they all end up walking away up to the stage, and they do one last pose where they throw up the ones, and CM Punk, he's not a part of this, but he does the whole go to sleep pose that he does, and the show ends off. I was being on the lookout, trying to see, okay, we're gonna see something that goes into the next story arc here, but nothing never happened. So they were just making time, most likely to allow the editors to get the last footage that they needed to put together those musical recaps that they do at the end of every show. This was fantastic. Tremendous match, tremendous storytelling. Everything just clicked. It made so much sense. The only thing I probably didn't get was the whole Tama Tonga at the beginning going like yeah through the whole thing. But that's his thing. So it makes him unique compared to the other bloodline members. But this was good from a story standpoint. This is what I'm thinking. As far as what's next, they gotta get rid of Solo. I mean, how can he be their tribal chief from a storyline standpoint? I mean, when you look at this match, the new bloodline, the Tongans, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, Bronson Reed, them 4 guys did their thing through this whole match. They were kicking the old bloodline through the butt all through this match. It's only when Solo got involved that the match kind of went downhill for them. He's up here trying to keep he's first of all, he's trying to prevent his team from even winning the match by trying to keep Roman out. And then, they ended up all getting distracted when they were trying to, when they should have been busy elsewhere, trying to win the match, trying to keep Roman out of the cage. And from there, once Roman and them all got, all of them, got him, they got all 4 of the other guys out. You had Solo, it came down to him, and Solo lost his team the match. So at this point, I just don't see you might as well give it to Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu really helped carry the new bloodline through most of this match in terms of the way the story was booked. Solo, they might as well get rid of him. I mean, come on. Even all the other guys, think about it. Everybody else on this team, outside of Bronson Reed, has won champion. Bronson Reed's new, but before he got added, they've won championship gold. They've all won championship gold, and Solo Sikao has not. So at this point, I think they gotta X him as their tribal chief. And from a storyline standpoint, I'm still interested to see where this is gonna go once we get to once we end up getting to The Rock and everything. So I will say though, if this is the ending of the arc for the for like old Bloodline versus new Bloodline, it was a fantastic way, and this wouldn't have been a bad way to end the Bloodline story. But of course, we know there's going to be more to come.